Multifamily Mindset
Podcast. Think bigger.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Dallas Pruitt. Good morning and welcome to the Daily Drip. On today's episode, I want to go back a number of years ago, actually, to the inception of this podcast. It was previously known as the Growthcast. And in the early stages, I launched an episode called, I think it was called 10,000. And I was referencing an experience that I had, almost 15 years ago when I went on a mission for my church to the country of Brazil. When I was 19 years old, I had the wonderful blessing and opportunity to be able to go serve the people of Brazil for my church. And as part of that process, I was required to learn the language of Portuguese. And I remember creating this big goal. Long story short, I remember creating this big goal when I first got there. I went through this 3-month program, and I was like, look, I want to speak this language fluently. I want to get as perfect at this language as I possibly can. I want people to mistaken me for a Brazilian. And before I left this facility where I was put through this program to learn the language, before I went into the quote-unquote field, which is essentially the state of Minas Gerais where I was called to serve and be out in real life, I had a wonderful instructor, teacher, guide, mentor, and he said, Dallas, look, that's an awesome goal and you can do it, man. But there's something you need to know. And I was like, okay, what's that? And I thought he was going to share with me some type of rule or formula or whatever that was uber specific. And it was very simple. And he just said, look, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to speak more than everybody else, and you're going to have to make more mistakes than everybody else. You're going to just have to make mistake after mistake after mistake and do it a ton. The best way to become perfect in this language, or fluent rather in this language, is to speak it more than anybody else and make more mistakes than anybody else. He said, in fact, the magic number is 10,000. And I remember that sticking with me. And I remember thinking, wow, that's daunting and kind of scary, but also in the same breath, very exciting to know that I just got to get out there and get chipping away at this number of 10,000. And that's what I did. And it came with some major struggles and some major successes, but in the long run, I was able to learn the language of Portuguese and become a fluent speaker. And there were a number of different times where people mistaken me for a Brazilian. And I was so excited about that because it was a goal that was accomplished, right? But what I learned throughout that process is way more valuable than that goal. Way more valuable. Because that specific skill set, that specific mentality, I was able to transfer over to so many other aspects of my life. And that is today's invitation, is whatever this big goal is that you have in front of you right now, adopt that type of mentality that, hey, look, it's going to require you to do more than everybody else if you're going to become great in it. It's going to require you to fail more than everybody else if you're going to become great at it. And yeah, there's a magic number of 10,000. Maybe it's even more. Maybe it's a little bit less, but it is up there. The point being, reps are required. There's an amazing excerpt that I wrote down a number of years ago. This is actually from James Clear, and it says, your first blog post will be bad, but your 1,000th will be great. Your first workout will be weak, but your 1,000th will be strong. Your first meditation will be scattered, but your 1,000th will be focused. Put in your reps. And then he continued back when I read this the first time, and he said, make mistakes of ambition and not mistakes of sloth. He was quoting Machiavelli. Mistakes of ambition, failing on a big goal, creating something nobody wants. Mistakes of sloth, not attempting a big goal, consuming instead of creating. Mistakes of ambition, what do? They teach. Mistakes of sloth, what do? Feed comfort. So my invite today with all of this, my friends, is hit that number. Keep at it. Keep chipping away mistake after mistake after mistake. And every single time you'll just fail a little bit better. This is the type of mindset of those that produce great work and, yes, achieve goals in their lives. And it's really easy to get back into a unproductive mentality because, again, we are creatures of comfort. And that's our natural instinct. But again, we can change that about ourselves. And it's going to require us to constantly remind ourselves and get back to making mistakes, making a little bit better mistake the next time, and moving forward at this type of pace. So again, my invite for all of you, just like the invite from my teacher, my mentor, my guru back in the day, and something that I've adopted with all big goals as I move forward in my life and my business, is make mistakes, pick that number, and do more than everybody else in that space. Do more than you've ever done. Not to be superior, but because that's what's going to be required of you to achieve the goal. And again, you've set this goal because you care so much about it. Well, hey, get back into the proper mentality. Fail forward. Have a great day, everybody. And we will see you guys back here on the podcast again tomorrow.
Multifamily Mindset Podcast.